vaccines, the rural population says ifesimezwai zinozonza anthu antawo musatibaye ayi mufuna kuti tisamabereke mukati basi tisabereke. That's disinformation, eh? Mufuna muzati mutipheana tifa, mufuna muti 666, yeah? And the others were deliberately disseminating fake news in the digital spaces. So Misa Malawi now has dedicated itself towards digital and online safety, where journalists operating in digital spaces are doing this professionally. They have to consult within whether there is need for consultations. They have to engage reliable sources, publish only facts, provide adequate information to mitigate disinformation, and avoid brainwashing people with misinformation or misinforming them. Again, legal reforms. It has engaged in legal reforms where the organization continues to push for legal reforms that align with international standards for media freedom and access to information, including the decriminalization of certain media-related offenses. By certain media-related offenses that people were being criminalized with, now MISA comes in to lobby for the reforms of decriminalizing individuals found in some media-related offenses. Where I know they will lobby for legal reforms. Kakai malamulo onena kuti malamulo ena age akalikala amene amagwisidwa ntchito kuti apange penalize arankhani ajobi. They have to be reformed. So there have to be legal reforms. Pabwe malamulo ina yabwino mbange update malamulo ena abwino amene they are favorable for the operation of the media in Malawi. So in a nutshell, MISA Malawi plays a pivotal role in safeguarding press freedom and promoting ethical journalism in Malawi. Its work is crucial in ensuring that the media can operate independently and effectively, contributing to the democratic process and the development of an informed citizenry. There's a MISA Malawi.
Does it mean they changed as time goes?
What they are doing now? Yes. What have they focused on now? So their focus now has been on digital media and online safety. Maybe something that was not being done before, they are now doing it. Why? The world is changing. We are going digital. So maybe there was no much focus on digital space or digital media or digital journalism and stuff. Yeah. Now we have every radio station now having an online page. Creating online pages. Those things were not there before. They are now there. Media organizations now having Twitter spaces, Instagram spaces, TikTok spaces. TikTok is a nascent phenomenon, right? So with the changing of things, they also have to update themselves. Now they have focused on digital media and online safety in order to step up their game and regulate, or to not necessarily regulate, because regulation is now for media macula. But it ensures that in as much as macula is a regulator, which is a government body, it does not censor or stand in the way of media freedom. There has to be no restrictions. There has to be media freedom. So media freedom have to be guaranteed as they operate. I begin. Palifuusome izimenya kumaliza dzulo liti zimene. Palifuuso Emile. One of the questions tamaliza tikadere on the agencies concerned with the broadcast media in Malawi. Any questions? Dave? Paibe? So we go on to the electromagnetic spectrum. Tunamva baize? Nagamba? Yes.
Are you going to use your next classroom?
Yes. I'm using all my classes today.
And if not that classroom does not have students, so it's just an advantage to take it.
Okay. Is this room or
Room 4.
room 4?
It's not meant for channel for communication.
Yes. It's room 4. Ndio muno muri class.
Then I'm going to ask you.
Abula munomo. Ndawuzo abire mu 4. Because I'm using ngati nyamuke sisibira kuti. I will tell them to use room 4. Yeah. The electromagnetic spectrum. Tinamvako? Tia. Nyamumani uri yosesimu. Tinamvako? Kuti? Mamuno? What is the electromagnetic spectrum? Electromagnetic spectrum, Murubizo? Gift. Chama frequency. Gift. Where were you when we are discussing the spectrum? So the electromagnetic spectrum. The world of the electromagnetic spectrum consists of radio and electric waves. Komarina via electromagnetic waves. By Nashoni. Clark. So the world of the electromagnetic spectrum consists of radio and electric waves, heat, light, gamma, cosmic, and X-rays. You're coming in this class? Can you use room 4? Because I'm supposed to use room 4. Yeah, for my class. So I want just to continue if it's possible. And just use room 4. I need the mwanga nimene okhamu. Development communication and broadcasting. So it's appearing on the timetable. So I think they allocated me room 4. Yeah. Sorry for the inconvenience. So these have wavelengths varying from over a mile in length to 1 million of an inch. So in the spectrum, you will find radio and electric waves. We talked about that. The electromagnetic waves, heat, light, gamma, cosmic, and X-rays. They are all found in the electromagnetic spectrum. So these have a varying length from over a mile in length to 1 millionth of an inch. Radio waves are at the lower end of the spectrum and they consist of low and high frequencies. So in the midst of all those waves, electric waves, heat, radio waves are at the lower end of the spectrum, and they consist of low and high frequencies. Their duty is to help transporting program signals from radio and television stations. Isn't it at the very first, I think first, second classes of this course, the electromagnetic waves. What do you follow on there? So, oxidation. What is oxidation? Gift. Oxidation, mambo. Nagambe. Uri ada Henry Janaran. They confirmed the existence of the electromagnetic waves by Maxwell Path. Yes? Yes? Using the oxidator, yeah, as a formula for producing electromagnetic waves. Oxidation. So, radio waves are born whenever an electric current oscillates. And the oscillation is the process whereby an electric current vibrates and reverses its direction of flow in a regular way. So radio waves happen when electrical current oscillates. Manena David. So the process where the electric current vibrates and reverses its direction of flow in a regular way is what is referred to as oscillation. Oscillation gives birth to an alternating current which helps generate radio waves, which are then released into the atmosphere. Is also named Nagambagale. Right? I mentioned that electromagnetic waves are shot in the air and transformed by the air, right, into our receivers. Yeah? So, when the radio waves vibrate or electrical current vibrates and reverses its direction in a regular way, that's what is referred to as oscillation. So, this oscillation gives birth to an alternating current which helps to generate radio waves which are then released into the atmosphere. The radio waves travel at the speed of light, about 300 million meters per second, and they are used for terrestrial broadcasting. Broadcasting now. That's how broadcasting happens. So, classification of the radio waves. The radio waves can be classified into 8 groups of frequency bands. We have the very low frequency waves, the low frequency waves, the medium frequency waves, the high frequency waves, the very high frequency waves, the ultra high frequency waves, the super high frequency waves, and the extremely high frequency waves. So these are the radio waves. the electromagnetic waves. Which are produced by the oscillation in the electromagnetic spectrum. Maroba kabana mabalarika. So we have very low frequency waves, low frequency waves, medium frequency waves, high frequency waves, very high frequency waves, ultra high frequency waves, super high frequency waves, and extremely high frequency waves. Zimene mmaziona ndiziti apa. Uyu VLF ndi LF. They are using room 4. They are using room 4. We have exchange. I have pleaded. Yeah. Room 4. So munaona kwa hichi? Pakandi wireless kandi chani? Ajambula UHS maona bebale kabeba kaje olo yuso uye mamone maga uye ndiye kuti wireless imene iyo ikuza ultra high frequency waves.
They did use all that.
We'll see. But what we know is the radio waves are classified into 8 groups on the frequency band. Frequency band, there are others that are low, very low, medium low, very low, kenako low, kenako medium frequency, high frequency, very high, ultra high, super high, extremely high. So the VLF waves are used in a long distance telegraph. Mava? Now manifusa kuti zonse zimagwira ntchito yake. So those are the ntchitos. VLF waves are used in long distance telegraph. VLF waves are dijan. Iya, inanusu. We need they so why muza huyu. VLF dijan. Very low frequency. LF low frequency. And then VMF medium frequency. Gift VHF. So VLF are used in long distance telegraphy. LF waves are used in long distance sound broadcasting. So nanzi pali mauje nanga age of types of radio waves. So each one of these 8 have their uses. The VLF waves are used in long distance telegraphy. Telegraph umaiziwa? Telegram umaiziwa?
Telegram, yeah.
They are used in telegraphy. Low waves, low frequency are used in long distance sound broadcasting. Medium waves are used in sound broadcasting and ship to shore transmission. sound broadcasting, komanso ship to shore pa sitima yapamazi. Kulutsa mawu kuchoka kusitima kufuna kulumikizana ndi kuntunda pamadzi. They use the MF waves. The high frequency waves are used in both medium and long distance sound broadcasting. VHF and UHF waves are used in television and high quality frequency modulated FM broadcasting. That's why chiwireless chichangashisha FM mumaona alemba VHF kapena UHF, meaning kuti they are using the radio waves that are very high frequency or ultra high frequency. So it is the VHF and UHF waves that are used in television broadcasting. Kabena FM sound broadcasting. Frequency modulation. FM the frequency modulation. You modulate the frequency. FM covers only very limited local areas and other short distance transmissions. So limited areas and short distance transmissions use FM. But you see what the other transmissions are done using the shortwave. Tumadere? Kabena medium ya AM marja AM radio wani mata kumveka soba shortwave. Tumadere. Osati ba FM poka. Inaida ubwela no ba imaveka ba shortwave ndi ba AM kalekale. Oh, kuna ndikufusa ngati uli muzi. Kalekale. Before frequency FM the coming of FM. Mava? SHF and EHF waves are used in point-to-point microwave transmission as in cable and satellite television. Kunoko kuli padawa bwemteo timati ku microwave. So that's microwave transmission. So there they use SHF and EHF waves. They use in point-to-point microwave transmission, also cable and satellite television. Tamva. So how are the radio waves propagated? Radio waves that are of very low frequency or low frequency or medium frequency usually flow the Earth's curvature and move out in all directions as ground waves. So these flow the Earth's curvature and move out in all directions as ground waves. These ground waves travel for distances, and because of this obvious advantage, they are often used for AM radio broadcasts. In the AM and FM, Mava gift. So the AM radio broadcast use ground waves. So ground waves are a combination of low frequency, very low frequency or medium frequency waves that are transmitted via the earth curvature, the ground. Yeah? So the greater the power of the radio transmitter, the farther the sound waves can travel. The side of the transmitter can either hamper or assist the movement of these waves. Damp, loamy soils are preferable in locating transmitters than dry sand soils because the former conduct ground waves faster and more efficiently. Reception signals on our sets often clear and the listening areas increase at night because there is less atmospheric interference than at daytime. So when they are transmitted via the transmitter. Ifeyo makwathu tili ndi ma sets amene timalandira ano ma signals from them from the transmitters as they travel, as they are being transmitted. So the reception signals of our sets in our homes. Okay. So the reception signals of our sets often clearer on our sets, often clearer, and the listening areas increase at night because there is less atmospheric interference than at daytime. Reception yake imakaya bwino madzulo, I think, because there is less interference than usiku. So radio waves can also move from the transmitter to our receiver sets in a form of sky waves. They move in a form of ground waves. They can also move in a form of sky waves. Yeah. So the sky waves are high frequency waves. The ground waves are low, very low frequency or medium frequency waves. In a nutshell, right? In summary, ground waves are a combination of very low frequency waves, low frequency waves, and medium frequency waves that moves, yeah, along the Earth's curvature. My ground waves, right? So there are also radio waves that moves from the transmitter to our receiver sets in a form of sky waves. Receiver sets ndi maradio atu tibakhala no nyumbachi kama ma TV amene tibakhala na ku nyumbachi. These are high frequency waves that have been refracted back to Earth by a layer of gases called the ionosphere, which is found at between 50 kilometers and 40 kilometers above the Earth's surface. The higher the frequency of the radio wave, the more difficult for any of the ionospheric layers to refract and refract it back to the Earth. So there is refraction and refraction of the ionosphere for the radio waves to move, to transmit from the transmitters to our sets in our homes. High frequency waves that are not susceptible to interference by the ionosphere are used in shortwave radio broadcasting. So that's why in my shortwave broadcasting, kabena ama aba shortwave, they use high frequency waves. That's what you should know. So mubarike ni mafiga wai. The very high frequency waves which were before lost to space are now picked up by satellites floating at a height of 700 kilometers or more above the Earth's surface and are sent back to the Earth as satellite or microwave signals. You know we have satellite transmissions also, right? That DSTV is digital satellite transmission. So those ones use very high frequency waves, those that are transmitted in the sky. Maguga mutima use AM and FM because they use the ground waves. Short waves, they use the high frequency waves because they are float above the Earth's surface. FM and AM, we use the ground surface and they are transmitted via the Earth's curvature. Shortwave, they are transmitted above the Earth surfaces. That's why they are called sky waves. High frequency waves and very high frequency waves that are transmitted, they float and picked by the Earth's satellite That's why they are used in satellite transmission, kapena the microwave transmission. Mava? So the changing nature of the ionosphere, especially at night, makes the use of skywaves unreliable for broadcasting service, as it could send down clear signals or noisy and distorted signals. But what's what? What's what?
How are you explaining quickly high
What? We have 8 groups of radio waves. Wow, right? So they have been described according to their functions. Yeah? So this is how they are propagated now. How are they used? How do they work? Yeah? Low frequency waves, they are very low frequency waves, and medium frequency waves transmit or move beneath Earth's surface. That is why they are called ground waves. Now, because they move below the Earth's surface, they are called ground waves. And they transmit to medium or short distance, short, medium to long distance transmissions. That's why they are used for sound broadcasting. Kabena on ship to shore broadcasting. That's why they use frequency modulation, FM, Kabena, AM transmission. Now, Pali, high frequency waves, very high frequency waves. High frequency waves, very high frequency waves that move above the Earth's surface. And these are called sky waves. Why they are called sky waves? They move above the Earth's surface. And they move this at a very long speed or high speed. Because they move at a high speed, they transfer or transmit long distance. That is why they are used in short wave transmission. Right? Now we have the ionosphere. I used to propagate the very high, very high, and where now they are picked by the satellites. The satellites are they float above the Earth's surface. So they float. So they move and are picked by the satellites, floating at a height of 700 kilometers or more above the Earth's surface. And because they move above the Earth's surface, they are picked by the satellite. That is why they are used in satellite broadcasting, Kabena microwave broadcasting, because that requires high frequency radio waves. Mom, something good? So, the changing nature of the ionosphere, especially at night, makes the use of sky waves unreliable for broadcasting service. Sky waves in the Adiwa Minaj. There are ground waves and sky waves and our satellite. Yeah? So the sky waves are not reliable for broadcasting service, as it could send down clear signal. So, sky waves are not reliable for sound broadcasting, as it could send down clear signals or noisy and distort. They are not good for sound broadcasting because they are noisy, they send noisy and distorted signals. Because what these waves do is they send signals. And these signals are the ones that our sets speak from our homes. So they pick, they send signals, and our sets receive the signals. So the signals that are sent by the sky waves are the ones that are distorted, they're noisy, and they're not good for sound broadcasting. So radio waves move in a straight line as a direct wave at a very high frequency from the radio mast to the receiving antenna. However, there must be perfect alignment between the transmitting mast and the receiving antennas. The line of sight or direct radio wave is a very reliable mode of transmission when there are no obstructing obstacles between the transmitting and receiving antennas, and when the atmospheric conditions are not adverse. Frequency modulation of FM radio broadcasting and VHF television service rely on line of sight or direct wave propagation, and this can be made more efficient by mounting the transmitting antennas on very high ground. In order to pick the line of sight or direct wave, because transmission is done in a direct line. Mwamva, I will share the slides. Mwamva. So what are the ground waves? Ground waves are electromagnetic waves that adhere to the contour of the earth. In radio terminology, the area covered by the ground wave is the primary service area. Akamapeleka license, they ask, what is your service area? Kumene niyo mudzulutsa mawu ndikutiko. So you state, idzulutsa mawu kwa kapiri, idzulutsa mawu kwa pwetekere. Amene iya idzulutsa mawu mulilongwe, boma la Lilongwe. That is your primary service area. So, in radio terminology, the area covered by the ground waves. What are the ground waves? These are the waves where the electromagnetic waves adhere or touches the surface of the earth. So where these radio waves touch the ground is what is called the primary service area. And this is the area in which the ground waves are not subject to objectable interference or objectionable fading. They are clear. They are easily detected. That's why transmission take and the people are able to hear. It is also the position of the station signal that is most protected by the Federal Communications Commission or MACLA when it licenses other stations and could not interfere. That's why MACLA the area that you will be transmitting from is what is called as the primary service area for you, because that is where your ground waves will be. And people, the audience will be getting your listening from you. You will set your transmitters and they'll be sending the signals from that particular area. That's what is called as the ground waves. Permanent sky waves is a phenomenon in which the radio waves travel into the sky instead of along the surface contour. Where now the waves move into the sky instead of on the ground. However, not all radio waves remain in the sky. Some are reflected off various layers of the ionosphere back to the Earth's surface. So, despite there are other radio waves that do not just stay in the sky, despite being transmitted in the sky, they will reflect back to the Earth's surface. So there is also a section of the Earth's surface that either ground nor sky waves reach. This phenomenon is referred to as skip, and the distance from the transmitter to where a sky wave touches the Earth is called the skip distance. The area in which a radio station signal is heard clearly because of skywave propulsion is referred to as the secondary service area. Primary service area ujannalincha? Dave, primary service area ujannalincha? Opposite of what? Gift. Primary service area ujannalincha? Okay. The secondary service area, the area in which the radio station signal is heard clearly because of the sky wave propulsion. The area where the radio signal is heard clearly using the sky waves is what is called the secondary service area, in short. So this is defined as the area saved by the sky wave, which is not subject to objectionable interference. There is no interference. The area saved by the sky waves, and there is no interference. It's known as the secondary service area. The point at which the signal from a station begins to fade is known as the intermittent service area of the station, or that area receiving service from the ground wave, but beyond the primary service area and subject to some interference and fading. So the ionosphere has different reflective qualities at different times during the day. The sun warms it and decreases its ability to reflect sky waves. The intermittent service area is the area in which, or the point in which, the signal from the radio station begins to fade. The area or the point at which the signal from the radio station begins to fade is what is referred to as the intermittent service area of your radio station. Komaso, it's referred to as the area that is receiving service from the ground wave but beyond the primary service area. Because the primary service area is the area that is receiving service from the ground waves. Yeah? The area receiving service from the ground waves is called the primary service area. The area receiving service from the sky waves is called the secondary service area. Now the intermittent service area is the area or the point at which your transmitter begins to fade. Or is the area at which you receive service from the ground wave but beyond your primary wave, primary service area. Here, there's our electromagnetic spectrum. This is the exam spectrum. Some of you will be the spectrum monitor. Spectrum monitor. This is what you'll be doing to check service area. Are they broadcasting within the service area? You saw my radio station last 3 weeks ago. We were called by Makla about our service area. Timamveka ku Blantyre ndi ku Mulanje. When it's a regional radio, that is supposed to broadcast within Central Region. But the radio waves hit Blantyre and Mulanje. So they asked, why? How did they detect that? The spectrum guys detected. Why they see outside its service area. You are asked, not transmitter, my waves transmitter high, very high frequency. Kabena ultra high frequency needs reduction to low, very low, low or medium frequency. Welcome to the world of broadcasting. It's interesting. Fusa. And that's it. I don't know it's because you're going outside your service area. My license condition, it's regional radio. It's not national radio. The community radio, it is supposed to broadcast within 100 kilometer radius. Meaning good service area yake, it's within 100 kilometer. So the spectrum guys now check. Community radio is broadcasting within its service area. Coming, it's going beyond its service area. Whether you're using ground waves or sky waves, commando, you have to stay within your service area. When you go outside the service area, you're violating your rights, the license conditions that you paid for. Because every license you pay, and there are conditions stipulated in the license. If it's a national radio, it has a wide service area where it uses both the primary, the ground waves, the sky waves, and the satellite waves. It has the primary service area, secondary service area, and intermittent service area.
Like digital platforms and okay, like I think many of us are radio stations, but then you would find it on the internet to access everything about it.
It's different.
It's different.
Digital transmission imakachitika ku South Africa. From Malawi, physical transmission has to be within the service area. License. Any questions on the propagation of radio waves? Microwaves. So, in addition to standard AM, FM, and TV frequencies, much higher frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum in the thousands of megahertz range are used. So, the short waves, the ground waves, the sky waves use this low frequency, very low frequency, medium frequency, and the like, which are used the sky, the ground, and the intermittent. So we have microwave transmission or satellite transmission. We have the microwaves. In addition to the standard, these ones uses the megahertz, the very high channel. So, in addition to the standard AM, FM, and TV frequencies, much higher frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum in the thousands of megahertz range are used. It is in this area that microwave transmission is found. So, microwave transmission is found in the range where there is usage of higher frequencies. So, we have the microwave ku MTL Tower in Lilongwe, where all radio stations in Malawi transmit to microwave. So microwave transmission uses much higher frequencies of the electromagnetic spectrum. I already said the electromagnetic spectrum has a lot of waves. Right? Minimum. The higher the frequency, the further the electromagnetic waves will travel in a direct line of sight path between transmitter and receiver. So in other words, microwaves always travel by line of sight. So the microwaves travel by line of sight. The ground waves travel by above the earth surface. Sky waves, yeah. Microwaves travel by line of sight, and they travel between transmitter and receiver at a higher frequency. Microwaves also allow many more channels of communication to operate because of their short wavelength. When am I using no short wave? Not free FM. Because the waves are shorter, many more will fill into the same space to the electromagnetic spectrum. Many thousands of channels are possible. When we realize that an AM radio station is allocated a width of only 10 kilohertz, it is easy to see how much more information can be transmitted at higher frequencies. We need microwaves in order to view our evening television programs or to relay satellite pictures across oceans, for us to be able to watch TVs in the evening. And relay satellite pictures, DSTV, to relay satellite pictures across the oceans, they need the microwaves. However, the current microwave technology has barely scratched the potential of this smart phase and carrier of information, especially in the broadcasting industry. The DSTV, the GoTV, all those that use digital satellite televisions, they use the microwaves to transmit. That's why you're able to see clear pictures and stuff. They're able to the Malawi Digital Broadcasting, they use the microwaves and not the ground waves or the sky waves. Palifuso pama waves. I'll share the slides, you will read. Any questions on the radio waves? Broadcasting, guys, my broadcasters. Any questions on the radio waves? The propagation of the radio waves, the groups of radio waves, the electromagnetic. We are within the electromagnetic spectrum. How things are done, the transmissions and stuff in radio and TV broadcasting, in broadcasting in general. Any questions? Gift? Pari befumbo. Emily. Masigino. Waves. They are moving. The waves are moving. Your set is searching in order to pick the signals. That's why pena mapanga antenna icha. Yes? Madruta antenna ija kudi it should pick the signals. Unobulukena uga dutsa antenna ija mbezika kuti yayamba kuveke ngati maveka nchenga yakhago clear and stuff. Ndizama wave panopa ma waves akuthamanga mlengalenga ena musimu. The ground waves are doing the job, the sky waves are skyrocketing, the microwaves are also they are moving as we are speaking. That's why we are able to hear the broadcast. We are able to receive the broadcasts, the transmissions. Transmission is kuteka. Without this, there will be no transmission. signal ya tao. That's why the plane in Chikangawa got lost and crashed, because the signal was not there for them to communicate between the pilot in the sky and the guys on the ladder. Even the guys on the ladder, they could not. Why? The signals were lost. The waves. Sana bange zabwino. Musana nina ba. Nina uri. We need microwaves in order to view our evening television programs, because there are no disturbances, or to relay satellite pictures across oceans. There are no distractions and the like. It's very peaceful than Masanaba. If there are no questions, let's discuss frequency. What is frequency? Frequency. There is a difference between radio waves and light waves or X-rays. Then another electromagnetic waves, muli radio waves, muli gamma, muli X-rays, muli light waves, and the like, right? But what differentiates them is their frequency. The electromagnetic spectrum has a lot of things, but what differentiates them is their frequency. So what differentiates radio waves from light waves or X-rays or gamma rays is the frequency or their frequency. Two radio stations in the same community operate on different frequencies so that they will not interfere with each other. Zodiac operates on a different frequency from Times because they should not interfere. They are all in Lilongwe, but there should not be interference. So even if Uniru could have a radio station here, and the Story Club also has a radio station, both broadcasting from Area 15, there will not be interferences because they are using different frequencies. So what differentiates radio waves from light waves, X-rays, gamma rays, or whatever ray? It's their frequency. When current is applied to the transmitter of a radio station, the antenna emits electromagnetic radiation. Isn't that? When current is applied to the transmitter of a radio station, the antenna emits electromagnetic radiation. This radiation is a series of electromagnetic waves, one after another. When you just apply current to a transmitter, that transmitter, you speak. I said when you speak into the microphone, it gets mixed. After it gets mixed, what is mixed? It's the waves that you have spoken into the microphone, which is connected to the mixer, and it gets mixed and it transmits its current and transmitted, and via the antenna transmitted into the sky as signals by the transmitter, and then the air gets that and we receive in our homes using our receivers the signals that are shot into the air, the electromagnetic waves that are shot into the air. Nani na was means, yeah. So the radiation, when current is applied to the transmitter of a radio station, the antenna emits electromagnetic radiation or electromagnetic waves. The radiation is a series of electromagnetic waves